Hello BookTube, who's up for some tag necromancy? Today I'm going to be doing the 28 more random questions tag. The tag was created by Steve Donahue and he tagged pretty much everybody in his original video, and it's well past time I do this tag. I've been hunting for it for a while, so let's get started. Question number 1. How old is your oldest living relative? I want to say my Uncle Jack is nearing 80. Or it could be my Aunt Shirley. I think they're both kind of nearing 80 on my mom's side. I'm not entirely sure how old my aunt on my dad's side is. I haven't seen her in 30 years. I've never had really much relations with my dad's side of the family. And then on my mom's, it comes and goes. But I want to say whichever between Aunt Shirley and Uncle Jack is the oldest, I want to say they're nearing 80. Question number 2. As an adult, have you ever been in a fight? No. I had a little tussle with my brother about 15 years ago, but it really wasn't a real fight. So I'm not counting it, so no. Question number 3. Have you ever been slapped in public? No. Question number 4. What's the largest non-human animal you've ever seen in person? I want to say, I think there's an elephant at the Cameron Park Zoo in Waco. I think that's the largest animal I've ever seen in person. It's been 5 years since I saw it. Me and my mom took two of my two nieces to Cameron Park Zoo so their my sister-in-law could get a break. And needless to say, I did not take pictures for some stupid reason. I should have taken pictures, but I didn't. Anyway, question number 5. Have you ever had serious surgery? No, I haven't. I've never had an operation for anything. Number 6. If you could only compare the novels of Cormac McCarthy to one kind of garbage, what kind would it be? I want to say the garbage in the kitchen. Your normal garbage kitchen and garbage in the kitchen. I could say like the toxic waste you would get from like a nursing home or something like that, but except for The Road. I've only ever read 2 Cormac McCarthy novels, The Road and No Country for Old Men. I loathe The Road. The Road is poo. And maybe that one would be toxic waste, but No Country for Old Men I actually kind of like, so I would say it's just, your average trash in the kitchen. Number 7. Who would be your dream casting for Superman? Let me check this real quick. I don't know. Maybe Noah Centineo, or I do agree with Steve that maybe an actor who could bring a bit more levity, a bit more humor to the role of Superman than this sort of grim dark that DC seems to be obsessed with, or Warner Brothers seems to be obsessed with lately. I'm not a huge Superman fan, so I really don't know who I would pick, but I think maybe somebody who could bring some humor and levity and maybe sort of make it a little bit brighter. I mean, Superman and Batman are basically sort of like opposites. I mean, Superman and by extension Metropolis are supposed to be bright, hopeful adventures, and then Batman's supposed to be grim, dark, and gritty. Okay. Question number 8. What's the greatest amount of physical pain you've ever been in? When I was a senior in high school, I ended up falling. I was helping my mom with something, and I ended up falling and hurting my right leg. And I pretty much was stiff for several days, and it was just intense pain. And didn't go to the doctor for it, but it kind of worked out its way out. And number 9. Do you believe in a god or gods? No, I don't think. I mean, yeah, I don't really see there's any need for a god or gods to explain the universe, especially as the presence of gods would imply a greater whimsy, a greater irrationality to the laws of the universe than what is observed. Although between a god and gods, I would kind of prefer gods. But anyway. 10. Have you ever been good and properly drunk? No. I think I mentioned in a tag a few months ago that if I were to be properly drunk, I would actually have to like the taste of alcohol, and I don't. It's like I tasted like wine, beer, and it tastes like crap. I mean, it's so terrible, and I don't know if it was I just got the bad stuff or the really sort of super artisanal. In the case of the beer, I went to a conference in Portland about 15 years ago for college, and me and a group of my group went to a bar. We went like walking around Portland and ended up at a bar, and I think we got some artisanal beer or something, and I had like a few sips, and yeah, it was comical, but I'm like, I cannot stomach alcoholic beverages. Number 11. To the best of your knowledge, what's the closest you've ever come to death? I'm thinking there might have been cases where, like a car accident, I think. I think we were driving to Austin or away from Austin, and I think we nearly wrecked. But I think that's the closest I can think of. Number 12. Which Star Trek character would the person who knows you best compare you to? Now that assumes that person knows Star Trek. Because nobody I know really knows Star Trek, so I can't really pick their brains about this. So I think if anybody who knew me also knew Star Trek, they would probably compare me to Weyoun. Weyoun is a major antagonist on Deep Space Nine. He is the major sort of representative face of this interstellar empire called the Dominion, which waged a years-long war on the Federation from the end of the 5th through the 7th seasons of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And largely, well, I'm not entirely sure about personality-wise, but my hair, I have slightly curly hair, although it's since kind of dissipated, but my hair at a certain length looks pretty much like a Vortis, which is the alien race that Weyoun belongs to. Number 13. Have you ever had your life radically changed by a book? No. I mean, I've had my opinions changed, my outlook on certain subjects influenced, but never radically, like reading a book and then all of a sudden everything's different. No. 14. Is there a universally beloved classic you simply don't like? Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, I'm not fond of that book at all. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I've only ever read it once, but I just found it irritating. 15. What is your dream profession? Honestly, I think, all things considered, I do sort of wish I were an English professor, or a history professor. I'm just, I mean, that was my dream profession when I was younger. I really wanted to be a scholar, to write books about literature and history, and I think to a degree, now this could just be nostalgia, that there's still a wistful yearning to have been a professor. But yeah, also writing, but you know, that's something I'm pursuing right now, so I don't know necessarily if that would count as a dream profession. But to be published. But definitely I think it's still an academic career. 16. Is there an entire genre of reading you're bugged that you haven't fully explored? I guess maybe right now history. I've just recently really gotten a big bug to read as much history as I can. I'm loving pretty much everything I'm reading, and I wish I'd explored more sooner, or had gotten this bug and this love sooner. But I mean, of course, in every genre that any reader is super passionate about, there's always more to explore, except for maybe ancient history. There really needs to be a lot more ancient history written and published, particularly popularly. But anyway, 17. When you people watch, what's the main thing you notice? How close they're getting to me. Also trying to non-obtrusively listen into their conversations, but no, it's how close are you about to sit to me? Yeah, stay about social distance, even before the pandemic. Stay at least 6 feet away. Anyway, number 18. Barring the unforeseeable, what's the most likely way you'll die? I'm thinking probably heart attack or stroke is what I'm thinking is the most likely way I'll go. Number 19. Have you visited any of the world, have you visited any of the seven Have you visited any of the 7 wonders of the world? Either ancient or modern. Or modern. No, I have not left the United States, so I haven't. I would love to, but I haven't. Okay, let's click down from 19 to 20. What are your main superpowers? I have a pretty good annoying sense of hearing. I can pretty much hear whatever's going on in the house. I can also sometimes hear what's going on in the apartment next door. I can even sometimes hear the mechanic shop across the street working. So I have a pretty good sense of hearing. Annoying at times. Oh, what else? I think I have a fairly good sense of smell, but for that I haven't really tested that. And I think those are my only two, well, only one really, ability that's strange. Yeah, I think that's it. 21. Have you ever met any famous people? No. I mean, I've met a few interesting academics who may in their field be somewhat famous. I had an email correspondence for a few months with Edward Field, the poet. I talked about a week or two on Weekly Reads. I did a paper on him, and one of my professors actually knows him. So we sort of corresponded for a little bit. And then I met an author who sat next to Margaret Atwood and her husband, or between Margaret Atwood and her husband at something. But I don't think I've met any other celebrities. I tried to when I went to the Texas Book Festival. I was going to see David McCullough read from his latest book at the time, and just before then, Bill Clinton was doing his a reading for his memoir that came out around that time. And I was waiting to catch a glimpse of Bill Clinton, but then he was taking forever, as presidents are wont to do. So I'm like, okay, do I want to stay out here and try to catch a glimpse of Bill Clinton, or do I want to go listen to David McCullough read? So I decided to go listen to David McCullough read, because that's the reason why I came out there. So I watched that, so I missed an opportunity to see Bill Clinton. Anyone else? I don't think so. So I think that's it. And I don't know necessarily if either one really counts as knowing, but. And 22. Have you ever slept out of doors? No. 23. Would you make a good parent? Or if you're already a parent, how much do your children hate you? I would make a terrible parent. I mean, I've spent a lot of time watching several of my nieces and nephews, and I think I would be a pretty terrible parent. I would be far too permissive with them. 24. New Kids on the Block or Backstreet Boys? In what way are we supposed to be judging this question? Musically, I don't know anything about New Kids on the Block, so I would have to go with Backstreet Boys. Although that said, I'm not terribly fond of either one, so I'm going to go BTS. 25. Have you ever been on stage in front of an audience? Yes. I've presented several papers to a small audience. I went to a that conference in Portland, and then also St. Edward's University every semester they do, or they had, I don't know if they still do it, they would do a student conference where basically for a whole day, like usually it's like a Friday, basically the Ragdale Center, the student building, would have, what's it called, like conference rooms on the second floor, and they could like basically close them off so it makes 3 rooms or 1 big room. And so in there, you basically have like a series of conferences or panels and presentations. And once I started writing papers for class and stuff, I would usually present a paper once every semester, and I quite enjoyed it. And then also I went to that conference in Portland, and I presented a paper there. And so yeah, so I've been up in front of like small crowds. I've never been up in front of like really large crowds though. 26. At the moment, what's your favorite non-booktube YouTube channel? Marla Baguetta. Marla Baguetta is a pastelist. She does some fantastic work. I think she's my favorite pastel painter on YouTube. She's been doing, for the past few weeks, well, past few months, a weekly live stream, which I absolutely adore. I don't know how much longer she's going to be doing those, because she used to do them very, very rarely. She's has other things she's working on. Since a lot of her income comes from workshops, and since a lot of those in-person workshops have been canceled, or pretty much all of them have been canceled, she's been really focusing more on a online painting workshop, that a lot of her energy has gone into that. So I don't know how much longer she'll be doing the live streams. But I also really like, say, Karen Margulis, Gail Sibley, when she uploads. She's been like, I think, 1 or 2 a year. Emma Colbert, Bethany Fields, who's a Texan. And outside of pastel, I also really like Peter Wood. Peter Wood's art. He does mostly an acrylic painter. He besides painting, he also does like vlogs. I love his life in Paris, or not Paris, life in France vlogs. Those are amazing. Also, I haven't really watched them in a while, but the Art Sherpa and Ginger Cook. They are both acrylic painters. 27. Have you ever passed out while sober? No. 28. How strong are you physically, intellectually, emotionally? I would say I'm strong enough to get by on all 3. Although, that said, I mean, a lot of this needs exercise. I mean, obviously physically exercise, but I mean, all 3 really require some form of exercise. And physically, I'm not the strongest person by a long shot. I mean, I'm strong enough to rearrange my room, but yeah, I really need more exercise than that. Emotionally, I think I'm so-so. I mean, I do have some mental instability. I do have moments of depression, although I'm not nearly as bad now as I was when I was younger. Intellectually, I think I'm okay. I think I'm fairly strong. But again, exercise. And yeah, since a lot of my reading has been science fiction and fantasy, no aspersions on that, but yeah. Anyway, so I think I'm decent. Anyway, so that's been the 28 more random questions tag. If you would like to do this video or do this tag, consider yourselves tagged, and I will see you in another video, hopefully tomorrow. Until then, BookTube, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.